The breath of winter has transformed the world around me. On this rather bleak and frosty morning, the deciduous giants stand still, bare, having let go of what they don't need. And at the feet of one deciduous giant is a monarch. We usually call the monarch butterfly the wanderer. The ancestors of my friend arrived here around 150 years ago, having travelled a long way. Funnily enough, my own ancestors arrived in Australia around the same time. My wanderer friend is curious. It wanders up and down my arm and sits on the tip of my finger, allowing me to admire its graceful and beautiful form. And with this gift comes joy, even though it's fleeting. Even in the bleakest of moments, joy and wonder can be found. Sometimes we really have to look. For me, wonder and joy are found in the little things. The little wows, I call them. What little wows or joyful moments have you had this week, Wonder Weavers? I'd love you to share with me in the comments below. Wow, Wonder Weavers, what a week it's been. I've finally replaced the wooden board of the dollhouse, and I have to say it was an exhilarating experience. It was very empowering. I realized as I was knocking in the nails that I had held in a lot of fear around this task, and in hindsight, one lesson I've learned is do these kinds of structural jobs right at the beginning. But of course, this is my first dollhouse renovation. I'm new, I'm inexperienced, and I didn't know how to tackle this kind of major job. So I'm grateful to all of you Wonder Weavers who have given me encouragement and advice. I really appreciate your support. So the job was actually quite straightforward once I had a piece of wood cut to size. I chose a large piece of plywood. It was fairly economical and is a little bit water resistant, which I thought might be an advantage, even though I'm not intending to put the dollhouse outside. So the next stage will be to stain the floors and to touch up the paint of the walls. While the house was on its side, I could see that the paint in places was very spotty. So I will have fun doing these tasks. I'm feeling much more motivated now that I've come through this challenge. In the meanwhile, Wonder Weavers, I made a mini kitchen table and I share with you that little creative adventure shortly in this video. So before we leap into this little creative adventure, I'd love to hear from you Wonder Weavers. How are your creative projects going? So let's make a mini kitchen table. It has been a year since I found the dollhouse, and little by little I've come far. But there has been one major problem that I've been reluctant to deal with. The house rocks, and that's because the foundation, or the wooden panel that the house sits on, is rotten. So this week I gathered up courage, and with my hammer I removed the board. And as you can see, the original board is in pretty bad shape. At my local hardware store, I had a piece of plywood cut to size. On that panel, I mark out the position of the nails. I then secure the board in place with flathead nails. There you go, Wonder Weavers. The dollhouse now has a new floor. For the kitchen of the dollhouse, I've decided to make an old-fashioned kitchen table. Recently I've been reading some articles and vlogs online about Victorian kitchens, and one vlog I particularly enjoyed is by Starcraft Custom Builders, and it talks about movement in the Victorian kitchen, and in particular how the kitchen table was the central focal point. I've left a link to the post in the description below if you'd like to read it. I start by creating the tabletop. I glue 6 craft sticks together. The glue I use is PVA wood glue. And once completely dry, I spend some time sanding the piece. The table is going to have one side drawer, so this means that I will need a support underneath the tabletop. I cut the support from balsa wood. This piece is shorter than the tabletop by about 1/2 centimeter on each side. After sanding, off camera, I cut 1/2 centimeter squares from each corner of the piece. I cut the drawer's base also from balsa wood. Meanwhile, for the sides of the drawer, I'm using craft sticks. For the legs of the table, I cut into 4 pieces first a wooden cube. These pieces will form the upper part of the leg. I then glue these pieces to dowel rod that I've carved. I thought this might be a novel way to make fluted table legs, which were very popular during the Victorian period. You could also cut spindles to size. Then to the support, I glue the table's sides. These are made out of craft sticks. As you will notice, one side is left open, and that's going to be where the drawer sits. I glue a balsa wood stick around 4 centimeters from the open side of the table, and this will act as a drawer stopper. I then assemble the drawer, first gluing its sides and then its back. I add dividers to the drawer. These are just strips of craft stick around 4mm in height. Next, I stain the table. This time round, instead of using watered down acrylic paint, I experiment and use my sepia coloured calligraphy ink. Before painting the table, I tested the ink on a craft stick and I was really pleased with the result. I then glue the table support to the tabletop and then the legs. For the drawer's handle, I'm utilising a jewellery finding, and I think this is actually part of a clasp. I cut off the loop with my jewellery pliers. With super glue, I glue the finding onto a craft stick and then the craft stick to the drawer. And there you go, Wonder Weavers. The dollhouse now has a mini kitchen table. Thank you so much for watching, Wonder Weavers. I hope that you have a peaceful and playful weekend. Until the next time, take care, stay well, and don't forget to play. Adios. Ciao. I wonder who's coming for tea. And where are they going to sit? We need a chair.